So on screen I have one image of a gun. I'm gonna put up another image and I want to see if you guys can tell the difference. The guns look relatively similar, right? No real differences to them. So I'm gonna add in something else that's gonna differentiate the guns a little bit. I want to see if you can tell the difference. And now that these guns have color, you can see a tiny bit of difference, right? Not too drastic, but you know, different shades of red nonetheless. This is a problem that we run into with the brand new MG42, so let's talk about it. So here we're comparing the stats between the brand new MG42 and the MG3KWS as they stand at the time of me recording this video. If you look at these at the first glance, you think that the MG42 is better in most categories. Well, that's because it is. However, how much better it is nothing too crazy. At an early range, the max damage on the MG3KWS is actually better. However, as the drop-off goes, you drop down to your minimum damage of 23 a lot faster than the MG42 drops down to its minimum damage of 20. While at first look, they look a little bit different and you're thinking, wow, 250 studs versus 170 about. It's a pretty big jump, but in reality, not so much. Multipliers are the exact same on both guns, so we can ignore those. Penetration depth is just a little bit better on the MG42, so it wins here. It has a decently faster reload time of being upwards of a second. Comparing a full mag dump of the MG3 to a mag dump of the MG42, it just stays at a consistent 6.1 seconds. Rate of fire starts off on the MG3 at 1000, but it can go up to 1080 with the muzzle booster. The MG42 has a special attachment called the light bolt, which allows this to jump up to 1620 with a light bolt and a muzzle booster. Now, for my small amount of time using the gun, it's very much similar to the MG3. It is a really powerful LMG that personally, in my opinion, excels incredibly at close range. It's okay at medium, and you just should not use it at long range. Whereas the MG3KWS is a lot more accurate at long range, but still can shred in that close range because of the rate of fire. The gun didn't impress me too much. It was definitely fun to use, and having, you know, a super high damage, super high fire rate LMG is absolutely going to be fun. It's to be expected. Using this gun on a map like Metro or even like Warehouse or any other close range areas, you will just dominate with this thing. But it's too similar for my liking. These guns very much remind me of the AKM and the AK-103. If you guys go and compare those guns, it's the exact same situation, except their differences are even smaller than these. While I understand that it is a new gun, in fact, they're still using the same model for the gun, essentially, with some minor tweakings to it, which, before anyone goes crazy, I'm not sure if that's subject to change yet. It very well could be. But as of right now, the models are essentially the same thing, the stats are essentially the same, which have already been spoken about, saying that they do have potential to change. But where this gun currently sits for me is just not something worth really talking about or making, you know, a whole 10-minute video on. It's too similar. The guns are just utterly the same. They are about like a 30 level unlock difference, or maybe even 40, but you just don't really gain too much. It's too similar to another gun, and I don't feel like that's really worth discussing. I personally am not a fan of them adding a lot of guns, and you guys know that. I'm really not a fan of them adding guns that are essentially the same thing as what we already have, especially being the same exact category. They are both like 50 round drum LMGs with a super high fire rate, really good close range, okay at medium, and at long range. They fit the exact same niche, and I feel like it personally doesn't have any position in the game, so I'm not going to drag on a video for the sake of trying to make money off of you guys. This is just my opinions on it. Feel free to check it out in the test place if you want to.